Hello and welcome back to the Kimberly Lovey podcast. I am your host, Kimberly Lovey. You guys, we finally traveled with our baby. Okay guys, welcome back. It's been a minute. Sorry that I missed last week's episode, but we've been on the road. Okay. So we basically took 2 trips back to back, and I know we had a chat about how Hawaii was going to be exorbitant, and we canceled that trip because it was just way too much. And one of the big reasons why we canceled it, besides it being way too expensive, was I just sat there and thought, wow, we just spent all this money getting our baby sleep trained, and now I'm going to go travel and completely undo it. That makes no sense because Hawaii is 4 hours behind us, and it would completely mess up our sleep schedule with the baby. So I decided to nix that. Brian and I, we begrudgingly, but we did it. We begrudgingly kind of canceled that trip and decided we will take that trip. Just, it's not our time. So when Charlotte was in the hospital, she actually had missed a trip to Disneyland that her camp was taking her and Carter and everybody else on. And we felt really bad about it. So I had promised her, because she saw her brother go. Carter ended up going to Disneyland, but she obviously was not able to go. So I told her at that time, like, don't worry, we're going to take you either to Disneyland or Legoland, I promise. So we had to make good on the promise. And the last time we went to Legoland was when the kids were like really young, like 2 and 3. And I think they were probably a little bit too young. We also had a bit of a debacle that trip because Carter ended up getting car sick, and we had actually been borrowing a car from Mercedes that they were kind enough to just lend us for the weekend. So he ends up getting car sick the last mile of that trip, and it was the kids' first road trip. We had no idea that he was prone to car sickness at this time, and it was traumatic. But basically we were a mile away, and we pulled over at a Taco Bell, and he just puked everywhere, projectile all over the Mercedes. And we had to strip him down, and he was literally in the Taco Bell drive-through being stripped naked with a suitcase. They must have thought, people driving by ordering their tacos, they're Mexican pizza or whatever, they must have thought this kid was homeless or something. But anyway, so cut to Brian and I were we got it, let's take the kids to San Diego, there's lots to do. And then also on our December trip to San Diego last December, we actually had purchased the wild animal safari park tickets, and it got rained out. So we got there, and all of a sudden there was a downpour. So we ended up having to turn around and go home. So we still had tickets that are good for a year. So we were we really want to use those tickets. So we're okay, we'll go to San Diego, we'll do Legoland, we will do the safari park, and that's basically it. And then we basically picked the same hotel as we had previously. So quick rundown on where we recommend that you stay in San Diego. So basically we had tried the Omni Hotel, and I'd podcasted about what happened there, but basically everybody we knew was oh, the Omni, it's so great for kids, it's great for families. We're awesome. So we had gone there, and candidly, the rooms were just very run down. The property is gorgeous because it's all golf course, and it's just a really, really spectacular property, and you really can't beat it. They also have 2 water slides and the splash pad, and then 2 pools. So we really were enjoying it, but the rooms just required a lot of maintenance. They ended up upgrading us to the presidential suite when we were there, and it was just, there was wires hanging out that Brian, he knows real estate, and so he was okay, if we turn on the shower, that can literally electrocute somebody. So there was just all these the rooms were not well maintained there. And so we also had an issue where I went to get my massage, and then I got stood up 20 minutes into the massage. They told me, oh, you don't have a masseuse. So anyway, look, with all due respect, we want to give them the grace that they deserve, because it's also been over the time of a staffing labor shortage and things. So we know that things are probably running a lot smoother at that property, but needless to say, we ended up switching over to the Park Hyatt Aviara for our next San Diego trip, and we loved it there. So that's in Carlsbad, and it's only 13 minutes away from Legoland, and it's about 35 minutes from the Wild Animal Safari Park, which is east. So we love that property. It's very like it's one of those properties that it's definitely for adults, but if you have kids, it's okay too, you know? So they have two water slides there, but you go in and it just feels elegant. They had updated the rooms 2 years ago. Apparently in 2010, the ownership changed, so it used to be a Four Seasons hotel and then the Hyatt took it over. So it's just a 5-star property. It's beautiful. It's clean, it's new. And so basically we get there and we had gotten 2 rooms adjoining because the suites were too expensive. And I think the mid-tier rooms, like the next, basically like the mid-tier rooms were sold out. And so then the higher tier rooms were like super expensive. So it made more sense for us to just book 2 rooms adjoining. And here's the thing that's amazing about that property that you guys should know is that if you do need 2 beds in a room, both beds are king beds, which is the only property I've ever seen that has 2 king beds. So basically the way we worked it out was me and London stayed in one room. They brought in a crib, and then I had the king bed to myself. And so it was me and the baby. And then across the way, adjoining, we had 2 king beds. So Brian had his own bed, and then the kids shared a king bed. So that's the way we worked it out. And the reason for that is because if London woke up in the middle of the night, I really did not want to disrupt the big kids' sleep or Brian's. Like if I could just basically take one for the team on this, like that was the best thing. And I thought if she napped, it would be better for her to have her own quiet space. So that's what we ended up doing. That actually worked out beautifully. And there was actually some drama with London sleeping, which I'll tell you about in a second. But I will say when we got there, it was like already 4 o'clock. And so their water slides run from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So basically we got there at 4 and traffic there was horrible. It took us 4.5 hours. We stopped over. We always stop at Seal Beach, and we stop at Seal Beach and we exit and we go to the Whole Foods there. And the Whole Foods, like, of course, we all had to pee, and their bathroom was out of commission for 2 days. And then, so then we had to go next door to Staples, go to the bathroom. That was inconvenient. And then we had sandwiches, but they were very bad. Like the food at the Whole Foods was very disappointing. It's normally really great. And they have pizza for the kids. And Brian and I got sandwiches, and the bread was like old. It was just not good. Then we got in the car and we crawled there to the point where Brian was getting nauseous on the way there when I was driving. So then we switched. So he was driving. I was sitting in the middle row with London, and then the big kids were in the back. But anyway, we crawled there. So the drive there was not pleasant. It was Friday. We left at 11. It should be more of like a 2 to 3 hour drive, and it took us 4.5 hours with like a 30-minute stopover. So it was not great. So anyway, we get there at 4 o'clock, and the plan was get the kids to go on the water slide so that they can run out some energy, have some fun, and we really won't have a pool day. So this is going to be their day to enjoy that. So we get there. Brian immediately takes the kids down. So we get there and our room is not ready. I'm like, okay. Like normally that's not a big deal. If it's like just me and Brian, it's like, no big deal. We'll wait. We can just like go in this other room and change and like go about our day and like just wait for our room. It's like really not a big deal at all. But because we had the baby and I also had breast milk that was frozen, that like I had to manage making sure that I put that away properly and stored it properly. Plus we had to change the baby, plus we had to change the big kids. And it was just like really kind of like, it's not simple when you have 3 kids, like nothing's simple logistically. So to have to so basically they gave us this other room temporarily. And then we kind of like we had to sort of like change the kids into their bathing suits and like get the baby changed and then pack everything back up. But it's like a lot of unpacking, because like the way that I make our family travel when we do these short day trips is to have one family suitcase, and then the baby had her own suitcase. So we travel pretty light. So we get the big kids ready. They go downstairs, Carter, Charlotte, and Brian. And then I'm with the baby. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to quickly like change her. Like, then I'll feed her a bottle. I'll get a backup bottle. It's fine. Well, the baby, I had brought her 2 swim diapers because like we were only going to go swimming one day for 2 hours. So as soon as I put her in the swim diaper, get her in her bathing suit, she immediately has a huge blowout, huge explosion, poops everywhere. I'm like, great. So I'm like, okay. So it's like a massive poop. So then I switch her into the second swim diaper and get her in her bathing suit again. And sure enough, poops again. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. There's stuff everywhere, all over the room. Like, I'm worried about my breast milk melting because it can only be out of the fridge for like 5 hours if it's frozen, I think, or a couple hours. And anyway, I had stored it in like a little like cooler. But anyway, I was just like kind of like frantic and overwhelmed. So our room was still not ready. So I was just like panicking because I'm like, this is just way too much. Like, I don't even think I'm gonna, it's like 5 o'clock already. We have less than an hour. It's like past 5 o'clock. We have less than an hour to go down there. We have stuff literally all over this room. I have to pack it all back up. I don't have a diaper for the baby to go swimming now. Like, she just went through her 2 swim diapers, and like my breast milk is sitting here melting. So I just started to get really flustered and panicky. And Brian's like, just come down. And he's like texting me, do you want a drink? And I'm like thinking, I don't have time for a drink. I'm just in survival mode right now. You know, I was like freaking out. It was very overwhelming. I was definitely pushed outside of my comfort zone on this trip, which I do think was a good thing. Okay. So I end up being like all huffy puffy and just going downstairs and being like, we'll figure it out. Brian thankfully noticed that they actually provide you with swim diapers. So I was able to change the baby, get her cleaned up down in front of everyone at the pool area, which was not my idea of choice, and get her into the pool. And it's like actually really perfect because you can kind of, those like pools that they kind of like gradually go down and it looks like a beach almost. So the pool, like you can sit there in like a foot of water with your baby and just kind of play in the water. So I was like finally relaxed and enjoying things, and like had gotten everything packed up upstairs, and they still, like, when we were done, they were going to have our room ready. But anyway, so I'm like sitting there just like finally like taking a breath, like finally relaxed for a minute. And Carter's like in the spa, which is like not that far away. And I hear him say, oh yeah, that's my mom. And then all of a sudden I hear someone say, Kimberly? And I looked up, and it was one of my really good friends, Sarah, from Mommy and Me class, that like we had been literally trying to get together for like 5 years. Ridiculous. Like every time one of us tried to get together, like one of us got COVID or something happened. And it was just so wild because I'm like, oh my gosh, Sarah. And so it was the best surprise. She was on a family vacation. She literally had just arrived also. She also just had her third baby like 6 months before us. And like her kids are almost the exact same age. So we've been on this kind of like parallel path ever since the Mommy and Me, like just so crazy. So anyway, it was so awesome that she was there. I was instantly like excited and overjoyed to see her. And then she was with another one of her friends. And it was just awesome to meet these, amazing families and hang out. And we were just having the best time. So then we kind of wrapped up the day. The water slides closed. Oh yeah, we look up, like our husbands are like hanging out up top with the big kids, like with the waters at the water slides, like not even knowing that their wives are friends. So that was like, it was just serendipitous. It was awesome. So that was super fun. And then we were just exhausted. So we just ended up finally getting our new room and bathing the kids and going to bed. So then London has the worst night's sleep that night. She's like screaming in the middle of the night. First, her pacifier keeps falling out. And I'm like, okay, I'm like just putting the pacifier back in and all this stuff. Then she just is inconsolable. It's like 4 a.m. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to end up feeding her in the middle of the night, which, by the way, leading into this trip, she's already at this point sleeping from 7 p.m. to 6 p.m. And she sometimes will wake up a little bit for like her pacifier, and that's it. We're definitely not feeding her overnight. She's 5 months old. So I was so desperate in the middle of the night that I actually like feed her. I like get out all the milk, and like thankfully they'd given me a freezer, by the way, thank goodness. And I had brought a bunch of breast milk and a bunch of formula, and she's not normally on formula, but I'm like, okay, this is going to be what makes the most sense. So I like heated up a bottle, or I don't even think I heated it in the middle of the night, gave her some milk. She like ends up going down for 20 minutes. I'm finally falling back asleep. She wakes back up and she's up for the rest of the day. It's 5:30 in the morning, and I had been up since 4 a.m. I literally, you guys, start crying. I was so exhausted. So that was the start to our first day in San Diego. Outdoor Movies by You is not just your average rental company. We consider ourselves an outdoor movie event company. Starting in 2011, we created the idea of bringing the movie theater to your backyard. Other than maybe a park with a ton of strangers, no one really knew what the outdoor movie was. With having over 30 years of experience of being a social event planner, Carrie combined the two and has created an event company that focuses on the outdoor movie concept. Simple options to choose from, just the basic, the actor, to having it all, Act 2, In-N-Out Burger packages. We offer seating, swag bags, s'mores, blankets, you name it, we can get it. We like to think of ourselves as a one-stop shop. Oh, and free popcorn with every event. We have no area boundaries from Santa Barbara to San Diego and everywhere in between. Once the pandemic hit, we had never seen anything like this. Our business grew by leaps and bounds as it was the safest way to entertain. We felt that we were putting laughs and smiles on faces in such a dark time. Whether it's a date night for 2 or a school with 1,000, Outdoor Movies by You will roll out the red carpet every time. See us in action on Instagram at Outdoor Movies by You. Okay, so then we regrouped. I decided to put on a chipper attitude, and it's okay. I got 6 hours of sleep, even though it was horrible sleep. Like, it's all good. I don't want to ruin our kids' trip. Like, I'll survive it, you know? So the awesome thing was that we ended up booking with American Express Platinum, and they ended up giving us buffet breakfast for free for all of us with our rooms, which saved us like $500. Plus, we ended up getting a third night free by booking it with Amex. So that was pretty amazing because literally a third of our trip was then like reduced. Like it ended up being so well worth it, which is good because the rates were very high, as you guys know, over the summer. So anyway, so we ended up having like a fabulous brunch or like breakfast, and then we ended up going to the safari park. Okay. So this was really cool, and we knew, so it was going to be a very hot day, 97 degrees, and we have the baby, and I'm like prepping all the milk, and I'm like just really trying to not like be overwhelmed, but I'm just like doing my best through it all. Hot tip, by the way, when you travel, always bring hand soap, because the bar soap at a hotel is just does not do it. Like your hands just don't get as clean. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Like they're just never as clean. So just FYI, I used to travel for work for like a decade. My best tip for travel for anybody is always bring your own hand soap, like liquid hand soap. I always do it, and I kick myself when I forget it, and it's always the best thing. I brought that, and I brought like a bottle brush, and I brought dish soap. Okay. So anyway, so we end up getting everything packed up and leaving really early for the safari park because we knew it was going to be a hot day. We get there, we parked in the VIP, which we recommend. We didn't do that last time when we got rained out, and we regretted it because then you have to walk way up the hill and parking's tough. So that was a really important, like it's expensive. It's like $20 on top of the regular parking, but it's worth it. Okay, so we get there, it's early, it's going to be a hot day, and, first we see a carousel. So I'm like, okay, we need a quick win with the kids, So they get on the carousel, they're having a great time, great. We keep walking, and this safari park has everything. It has the giraffes, the monkeys, the lions, all the things that you would think that you'd have in a regular zoo that seem to not be there anymore. So it was really great. Then we get to the hot air balloon, which I had no idea about this. And it takes you up like 400 feet into the sky, and it's massive, but it's like tethered to the ground still, but it's massive. It's huge. So Carter and I are both afraid of heights, but he doesn't really know that I'm afraid of heights. Like I don't really broadcast that because I'm not trying to like project it on him or on any of my kids, So I kind of like low key like understand that he's afraid of heights, but I don't want him to like get it from me. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So he ends up, like I'm thinking, oh, there's no way this kid's going to do this because I'm definitely not doing this hot air balloon. There's zero chance. So anyway, I know for sure Charlotte and Brian will go because they're like wild like that. Carter ends up totally wanting to go. I was shocked. So I say nothing. Me and London are just firmly on the ground. I'm like, my palms are sweating, knowing that my family's up there. I'm watching them go up, up, up. And it's slow, it's a slow ride up. And then they like hold them up there for like a solid 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I'm thinking Carter is going to be screaming. He's going to be losing his mind. They come down, and I'm like, oh my God, he probably was like crying the whole time, like making a whole like debacle. He comes off. I'm like, how was it, son? He's like, great. I'm like, really? And I don't want to be like, you weren't freaking out. I don't want to say that. But he's like, yeah. He goes, well, I'm afraid of heights, but I decided to lean into my fear and let it roll off my back. I was like, who says that, by the way? Like, I've never said that to him or said anything even of that sort to my son. So he just like, his emotional intelligence is just incredible. Just some of the things these kids can say, like at such a young age. I mean, he's 6. So that was really like hit me in the face. I couldn't believe it. So then we went on a tram ride, which was great. Oh, first in between that, we got lunch and the air conditioning. We went on a tram ride, and then like the baby was really fussy and needed to nap. It was getting really hot. So we went home or back to the hotel, and we were able to hang out with my friends again, Sarah and Mal and their husbands. And anyway, and their kids and everything. That was awesome. They were just having like a pool day or whatever. And then my best friend, Stephanie, came and she met me and her daughter, Caitlin, and that was super fun. And the kids just like love playing with her because she's 9, Carter's 6, and Charlotte's 5. So they just had the best time with her. And then we ended up going to a dinner, and keep in mind, because I packed like so slimly and wasn't planning on going to any dinners or anything of the sort, I didn't pack more than one bathing suit. I didn't pack a dinner dress, no makeup, like the bare bones. I literally brought like Lululemon stretch pants, enough underwear, one swimsuit, like the basics, right? Like the most basic I could possibly get, because our car like wouldn't fit multiple bags like beyond the 2. So it was kind of funny because we ended up booking like a nice dinner, and then I had to go in like my same like swimsuit outfit, like, cover up whatever dress. And it was just funny. Or maybe I did leggings and like my whatever. Anyway, it was just like not what I would normally wear, but it doesn't matter. It literally did not matter, but it was really fun. So we went down there and had like a really, really good time. And basically we just ate our faces off, drank, and it was just so great to see friends again and all that good stuff. Okay, so then cut to the next night. So that night comes again. London is like screaming in the middle of the night, and I'm like, this is just horrible. It's just horrible. I cannot console her. I have no idea what's going on. I'm trying to feed her. It's the middle of the night. It's just like awful. Finally, when we wake up, I see she has like her eye is like glued shut with like green. And I'm like, oh my God, she has pink eye. I looked at her eye. Her eye was all pink. I'm like, so they had already had pink eye like a week and a half ago. So I thought that it was done with. So I had stopped her and I gave her the drops too because she was getting it. But her eyes seemed to have cleared up. So anyway, end up thankfully bringing the pink eye medicine. Thank goodness. So I end up giving her the drops, and I'm like, this is why she's been like out of her mind this whole trip, like at night. And it was just horrible. So yeah. So basically then the next day is Legoland. And again, I'm like exhausted. And we're on our way there, and Charlotte starts saying like, basically like she doesn't have the language to say her gland, but like almost like her right gland was hurting her. And this made me nervous because I'm like, she had this sickness, and I don't know that she's fully recovered, and I don't know that we ever really got an answer as to what it was, but it just made me really nervous. So we get to Legoland. Charlotte's not smiling. She's not excited. She's completely uncomfortable. And I'm starting to panic. Between London, first of all, I'm completely sleep deprived. London has pink eye, and I'm like hoping she's not actually sick. And then Charlotte is like miserable. And I feel so bad for Charlotte because she's so happy and outgoing usually. And she's just like silent. Like she does not feel well. So we start to enter the park, and they end up giving us this like golden coin. They gave it to Charlotte. Like they made Charlotte and Carter do rock, paper, scissors. Charlotte wins it. He's like, oh, this is worth over $100. We're like, what? So we have no idea what this is about. So we like keep it, and then later find out it's basically like a free pass to like get you to the front of the line, or you can draw a prize, and there's only like 10 of them in all of Legoland a day, and like they're highly sought after, and on and on. So that was kind of a fun little twist. Okay. So as soon as we get there, I go and immediately buy Charlotte Tylenol, give it to her. And thankfully within 30 minutes, it kicks in and she's like back to her old self. You guys, we had the best time. Legoland was the jam. It is officially my new favorite place. Like this was the perfect move. So of course we got like the fast passes, which are pretty expensive, but Brian and I didn't each need one. So we got one for the adults and then two for the kids. So we only had to get three, but they're expensive still. They're like $100 each on top of like, $100+ tickets. So it's not cheap, but whatever. I guess all these theme parks are like that. So anyway, it was great because we were able to cut the line basically and go on a lot of rides, and it wasn't overly crowded. It was a Monday, or was it? Yeah, it was a Monday at this point. And I went on a couple of the rides. The thing I really like about Legoland for this age, like for 5 and 6 year olds, is like the rides are really fun and they're they're like thrilling, but they're not scary. Like they don't cross that line of being like, okay, that was actually scary. Like it's very fun yet tame. And for me, I kind of am still afraid of roller coasters. And so I personally was like, oh, this is great, because I felt like it was really pure fun. It wasn't just like, oh my God, I have to like muster up my courage to like do this ride. Like it wasn't anxiety inducing. So yeah, we had an amazing day at Legoland. Everything's on the app. You have to like download the app and everything. And it wasn't too hot. It was a long day, but it wasn't too long. Like it was really good. Like, and then the park is about 15 minutes, like I said, from our hotel. So it wasn't a super long drive or anything. And London did great. So yeah, it was a really fun day at Legoland. And then the next night we had a better night. London slept much better, but not perfect, but better, because she had the eye drops. And so, yeah, so then that night we got home though, before that night's sleep. So when we got back from Legoland, we ended up just doing like room service, and like Brian each night was like going out to the bar and then bringing me like a drink back. And so we'd each have our little drink and cheers to each other. The kids were having we were all having our room service. It was just super fun. It was just fun making memories. And it's the first time we've traveled all summer, and London's first getaway. It also really did push me out of my comfort zone as far as traveling with a baby. And we didn't have a nanny. We didn't have a grandmother. And, when you're at home, you are used to things being like exactly as you're used to. This pushed me to get more comfortable. I had to use formula a couple times and use different bottles and not have them sanitized all the time, and just kind of be a little bit more relaxed. And I think that's good for me to like remember, like, it's okay. Like it doesn't all need to be perfect. So yeah, the ride home thankfully was so smooth. It was 2 hours. We didn't even stop, actually. We just went straight, and it was great. Like I was amazed, although I really did have to pee by the end. And it was wonderful. So that was our trip to Legoland. I definitely feel like the Park Hyatt Aviara is our spot. Like I'm ready to go again, and I want to go to Legoland again. I would maybe do SeaWorld next, but I hear that it's not as great because they don't have Shamu, and like they took away a lot of the sites because it's like dangerous and like, I don't know, whatever. So I'm not sure. If you guys have been to SeaWorld, can you let me know what you think of it? Yeah, we survived. We did our first trip away from home. And so that was our Legoland trip, and it was pretty amazing. Then the next trip comes only 4 days later. Okay, so we come home from Legoland on a Tuesday, and by Friday, Brian and I have a 40th birthday party to attend in Orange County. Okay, so it was just going to be me and him, which I was very excited about after traveling with the kids, but it was definitely like a lot. So we had to go kind of all the way back to where we just were a couple days later, but we were excited about it. So Becky ended up taking a night off for her current job and helping us out. And so she stayed with London, and then the big kids, we basically packed up everybody and dropped Carter and Charlotte off at Bobby's house in Beverly Hills. So kind of on our way, we just dropped the kids off at their grandmother's, and they got to do a sleepover with her and Saba. So that was really exciting. They like love sleeping over there. It's like super fun for them, and she's the best. And it's so easy for me because she has everything the kids need. Like she has pajamas, she has toothbrush, she has all the things. So I don't even really need to pack them anything besides maybe like underwear. So it was so cute. Carter and Charlotte both like packed, pajamas, a change of clothes, underwear, and socks. And like that was it. And they're so cute. They were so excited. They had their little suitcase. And so, yeah, so that worked out really well. So then Brian and I drive down there, and we were staying at the Ritz-Carlton in Laguna Niguel. So normally we stay at the property that we got married at, which used to be the St. Regis Monarch Beach in Dana Point. And then it was sold twice since then. So now it's a Waldorf Astoria, and it was actually booked. It was sold out. So we ended up staying at the Ritz, which I'm not complaining about. It was just like, oh, this isn't our normal thing, you know? So, but then we were kind of both like, yeah, we're a little bit over like staying at the same place all the time. So like, it's good. You know, we're glad that we're staying somewhere different. So we get there, we get to the Ritz-Carlton. From the moment you pull up, there's a guitar playing. The weather in Orange County is just perfect. It's like beautiful palm trees, and it's just beautiful. Like, he's just wonderful. So we go there. Our room is not ready. They say, okay, it'll be ready in an hour. We're like, no problem, because it's just me and Brian at this point. So we start walking the property, and it's on a cliffside, whereas the Waldorf is not. It's like there behind it is a golf course. So if you're a golfer, you stay at the Waldorf. If you are not a golfer and you're more into like, you want the ocean like right there, then you go to the Ritz. So beautiful, beautiful views. And we had been there before. When we had gotten engaged the next night, we had a meal there. The weekend we had gotten engaged the next night. Yeah. Okay. So we decided to go and like get Brian. Well, so I thought we were just walking the property. And then of course, Brian's like, I'm hungry. I'm like, okay. So we end up sitting down, and they have this beautiful restaurant. It's like all out on a patio. They have umbrellas, and it's over the ocean, and the beach is like below you. And it's really high up. It's really beautiful. And it's just picturesque. It's like heavenly. And again, they had another guitarist come, and she was singing, and they bring this cheeseburger and truffle fries. Brian orders me truffle fries. Keep in mind, it's his lunch. Of course, I end up like having 3 bites of his cheeseburger and like a bunch of his truffle fries, even though I just had pounded like all this other food. Anyway, wonderful, wonderful meal. Beautiful view. Everything's just beautiful. But now it's kind of late, and I realized I should have booked this with American Express, and I didn't. And we probably could have gotten a bunch of perks, and I didn't book it that way. And so anyway, basically we go to the front, and our room still wasn't ready. And the guy there, Lucas, he was so cute and so nice, the manager. And he ends up like pulling us aside and being like, hey, sorry, it's delayed. It's busy. Like, we're like, oh, it's no problem. But meanwhile, like, I'm like, okay, our party starts like soon, like in like 45 minutes, we need to like get going. But I mean, it was like, whatever, we'll get there when we get there. It's not that big of a deal. So we're like, it's no problem. Like, it's all good. And he's like, okay, actually, I got your room. He like comes back. He's like, I got your room, and I got you like all the perks of Amex, but like it's not officially through them and all this stuff. We're like, awesome. Thank you so much. It was so nice. We end up going to our room, and it's on the club floor, which, by the way, the club floor is so amazing because you get a cocktail hour, you get free breakfast, you get water, all you want, you get all the things. It's like all there for you. Coffee in the morning. It's its own thing. You have someone that helps you. So we get up there. We're like, yes, we're on the club floor. This is amazing. That was so nice of that guy. And then anyway, so we get there, and our room, you guys, is 2 queen beds. We start like cracking up. It was so funny. We were like literally dying laughing. So anyway, we end up getting an Uber. We get to the party, and turns out there's like going to be about 100 people there. They rented out the whole restaurant/bar. Met so many super cool people, and just had such a great time. One funny thing was that at the end, we did like the after party. Like, all of the friends were like, okay, we're going to do an after party. And Brian and I are like, okay, we're going to do it. We're down. Like, we just, anything to support the birthday girl. And like, so we go, and we end up going to a dive bar. And I'm like, it's like across the way. Keep in mind, guys, I'm 38. It's been a minute since I've been to a dive bar. Okay. But nonetheless, we're down, like whatever it is, right? So Brian and I go, and as we're going in, this is like a small thing, but it was actually really funny. We're going in, and the guy like cards me, and then he like gives it back. I'm like, okay, cool. And then he put something like above my hand, and so I turned my hand around. I'm like thinking he's gonna like sanitize my hand. He's like, turn your hand around, ma'am. I'm like, what? Like, I don't know what's going on, He stamps it, and I was like, Oh, right. And he just like looks at me and grins because like I'm clearly out of practice. Like I forgot about getting your hand stamped when you walk into a bar or whatever. Anyway, it was super funny. So yeah, we did some dancing, some drinking, and that was super fun. And then we ended up getting an Uber home. And thankfully, Brian and I were not like nearly as wasted as we thought we may have been. Hopefully, or maybe the drinks were a little bit watered down. I'm not really sure, but thankfully, it all worked out in our favor because we were actually intact. And then Penny, the woman at our clubhouse, she like was still there. And she's like this cutest woman. She's like the attendant or whatever at the clubhouse, and she was still there. I'm like, Penny, don't they let you go home? She's like, oh, I'm leaving in a bit. And she ends up like pulling out desserts for us, like these fancy little desserts, and like we had a little snack or whatever before we went to bed. And then so that was really fun. And then the next morning, which was just, we were going to leave the next day because we work, have kids, well, Brian works and we have kids and all that stuff. So yeah, so I ended up going for a workout, like ocean view in front of you. So gorgeous. Oh, and Brian did book massages. That's right. He booked 2 90-minute massages. So that was super nice. We went there and we went down there after breakfast. And so I did a quick workout. We had a quick breakfast. Then we went down and had a massage. So that was really beautiful. And then I think the woman had to adjust our time for the massage, and I guess she was new and she felt really bad because originally she had us booked at 10:45 in the morning and then ended up having to push it to 11:15. So she felt really bad about it, and I guess she thought Brian was just so sweet the way he was like, okay, even though it did kind of mess up our timeline for the day, but it was fine. Like we just had a couple other things we had to get done in Orange County and we really couldn't because our timing was off, and it was kind of like tight timing throughout the day. We had a tight turnaround time because Becky had to leave at 5 for her job that night. Anyway, so yes, so it was really nice. She gave us like a little gift bag, like swag bag, because she thought he was just so nice and she appreciated him being so gracious. So, that makes me feel good to have a husband that's always like really kind and just respectful and not a jerk. And, he's just classy like that. I'm really proud of my husband. I'm proud to be by his side because he is just really so respectful and classy, and I think that's super important. And I'm just proud to be his wife because you want to feel like, I don't know, you just want to feel like you're with a good guy and that he represents your family well, and hopefully vice versa. So anyway, I'm just proud of him. So it was really a nice surprise. And then the pool scene there, it was cool. Like, again, they had guitarists throughout the whole property. It was really interesting, and I have to say, it really does change the mood. So we did that. And then we went home and the kids were, had the best time with their Bobby. Becky had been FaceTiming me and giving me updates about London. She did great overnight with Becky. And I was worried that she was like regressing with her sleep, but we had cried it out a couple days, like between the 2 trips. I made her cry it out because I'm like, I cannot have her regressing at 5 months. Like, she's got to be sleeping through the night. We're trying to get her naps down. So yeah, so that was basically our last week on the road. It was super fun and it felt good to go out there and live again and do some stuff. And we do have some big breaking, exciting family news, but it's not for me to share, not now. I have recorded the episode already. So look for that either in the next couple days or next week. It's like a mini episode, basically. It's like 10 minutes. And I'm really excited to share some breaking family news. And with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Also yesterday we did go to Sam and Abby's for a barbecue and they had some homemade pizza. That was absolutely delicious. I'm so glad that now I know our neighbors can cook us amazing handmade pizzas, and it was fun hanging with their friends. Like, they just have so many, like, I love their family and their friends, and a lot of babies and pregnant women and all the good stuff. So that was super fun too. So that was kind of our last week and a half. That's where we've been. And thank you guys again for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please do not forget to rate me 5 stars and also hit the plus button on Apple Podcast. And that helps me make sure that I've got all the trackings and analytics down, and, advertisers and things of that nature are interested in that. So as we look to build and grow the show, having like great reviews and more subscribers and all that jazz really does help. So tell a friend if you enjoy this. We will probably continue to do more interviews coming up. I've just intentionally kept it kind of low key for the last several months because, we've been in babyland. So we'll probably also have more content around, just inspirational people that have an amazing story, influential people. We've got a bunch of people lined up that are pretty amazing. I'm really excited. I'm also not rushing those podcasts because I want to do some research. Like some of these people have written books that I want to be reading before I have them on, things of that nature. So definitely excited for that kind of change of pace. It'll be probably less baby focused and more, I don't know, just a little bit more educational, inspirational, and entertaining, hopefully, as always. And with that, I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, that is it for today. Now, as you know, some of our best conversations actually happen after the show. So I want you to find me on Instagram at Kimberly Lovey and let me know your thoughts about today's show. You can screenshot this episode and let us know what your biggest takeaway was and tag me at Kimberly Lovey, and we can share it on our stories. I will see you again, same time, same place next week.